Ah, it's not that bad in this night, you know. Even though there's no light, not bad. 지금 해가 뜨지 않고 완전 저녁인데도 나쁘지 않게 찍히고 있어요. So I'm a little bit tired today because yesterday I had a Crohn's flare-up, so I couldn't sleep until like the sun comes up. 어제 이 크론병으로 배가 좀 아파가지고 하루 종일 잠을 못 잤어요. 그리고 잘 먹지도 못했고 그래서 지금 좀 힘이 없어요. Looks really nice. Huh. F3.5 6400. You can see my glasses getting foggy. Now you're not going to be able to see me at all. Oh, look at this. I'm just trying to find somewhere to sit down. 좀 어디 앉아서 쉴 곳을 좀 찾고 있어요. I wanted to just sit down and just talk about you know, random stuff. 좀 앉아서 그냥 이것저것 얘기하고 싶은데 의자를 찾으려면 저 앞에 있는 약간 축구장 같은 데까지 가야 돼요. I have to go to the soccer field to sit down on a bench. So that's what I'm aiming for. Oh, look at this. There's a you guys can't see because it's too dark. Well, there's some buildings looking good. The shutter speed changed. I should do this more often. 이런 거 좀 자주 해야겠어. 카메라가 이렇게 좋은데 왜 안 쓰는 거야? Why am I not using this camera if it's this good? Look at this. Wow. Beautiful wall. You know, sometimes never mind. I'm not gonna use this. Oh. What's wrong with this lens? Why is it having trouble with autofocus? Huh. This place looks good. I could sit down over there. Feels good. Feels good to be outside and to walk around. Look, natural lights. natural lights. So yeah, I think I'm almost done with the Detroit Become Human review thoughts. It's that there's some sort of like two ideas conflicting together. It's something like the ideology from Plato and the philosophy of Nietzsche. I think those two are the main concepts that I'm gonna talk about in my review videos. But I was in the bathroom just like sitting down on the toilet because my Crohn's flare up, so I was having a big pain in my stomach, rubbing my belly and be like, oh, when will this end? And then I was thinking about the Kamsky test, because if you think about it, the Kamsky test is like a empathy version of the Turing test, but actually it's totally different. The Turing test has a main goal to figure out if this entity is a human or not, which means there should be a black box, and input goes in and output comes out. And we don't know how to examine the black box, which is the brain or the processing unit, but we want to determine if the black box has some sort of a self-conscious using the output, which is the chatbot thing. But the thing is, now here's where the Plato's ideology and the Nietzsche's, the God is dead theorem, like there's no such like, hidden ego, or like the one or the God, or like there's no such theory or a certain ideology that can explain everything behind what we interpret. Like that's the ideology, that's the concept of Nietzsche. And the thing is, Turing test is trying to figure out that that what we call a soul, or what we call a human, from a machine. Now that's extremely Plato-ish, because to begin with, it's saying that, hey, there should be some sort of a magical, or like a thingy, like a soul, or like a conscious thingy here, so that it makes it look like a human. So it's asking if an entity can chat with another human, and if the human cannot determine if it's a robot or not, or like a human or not, like if it's a robot or a human, if it can't determine, if then the Turing test is passed. So it's basically asking, is there a like a hidden conscious inside the entity? Now the Kamsky test is a bit different. The Kamsky test is something that asking for empathy. Well, that's what the game is telling us. But the thing is, it's something different. It's that to have empathy to another, human or an entity, to have empathy, you have to first have some sort of a love to yourself first. Because empathy comes from a emotion that you want to protect or care for, because you know that that person shares or have a same sort of system as you. So we can think something like, if I'm a human, so I should pass the Turing test, right? If I'm a human, then that means I pass a Turing test, and that means there is some sort of this like a certain memory part where nobody else shares with me. So that means this part of the memory is the part that only I know. Nobody else knows in the whole world, because I can't share it. It's impossible, unless my conscious is exactly connected with somebody else, like how in StarCraft Zerg has a connected mindset of like the Overlord or something like that. But we're not. Humans are not like that. So our mind is basically contained in this like brain container, and we can't 100% completely share our feelings or thoughts to others. So keep that in mind. That's like it's like we can think like as a sub-persona, because that's what we call it. Now, robots, or at least Connor, in the first of the game, Lieutenant Anderson and people can expect what Connor will do, because there is no such personal memory part that Connor makes, because Connor is a machine. So his memory, his everything, his functionality, his ego, or how he thinks is 100% predictable, because he's a machine. There's no such personal memory that he generates. He uploads everything, he shares everything. But then what happens is he slowly starts to create his own space in his system, something that we can call it different from other Connors. That even though you upload this, still this Connor will be special, because there is some part that you cannot upload. There's some part that only you can understand what you think, and you can't share this part of the memory to others. It's like a personal experience. Now, when something like that happens, and Connor will be able to perform empathy, because when he has a certain part of the memory that he wants to protect, because if this is destroyed, if this part of memory is destroyed, then there is no such thing that's gonna divide from Connor to Connor 2. If they don't have that personal memory or personal experience, Connor 1, Connor 2 to Connor 1000 is all the same. But if that's different, then Connor is that Connor that made the special memory, special like personal memory, is special, is unique, and he wants to protect it because that's what defines him. Now, when he aims the gun to Chloe, he assumes that Chloe also has this personal experience part. But no, actually, Chloe doesn't have it. Maybe she has it. We don't know that. But the thing is, because Connor developed this personal experience that can uniquely define that Connor from other Connors, he assumes that emotion is something that he wants to protect. Like that part of the memories wants something he wants to protect. So that's why he doesn't shoot Chloe. Because if he shoots Chloe, then he's going to destroy somebody else's personal experience. Exactly the same thing as why humans don't want to kill other humans. What matters is, what the thing is, what if the Kamsky test was a little bit different? Something like not shooting Chloe, but Kamsky asking Connor to aim the gun at himself, and then because Connor can come back with another model saying, hey Connor, if you shoot yourself, then I'll give you all the information to your next version, or not, you will live, but I will not tell you anything. That way the Kamsky test can directly aim to that personal experience, or like that uniqueness of Connor himself. So maybe that can be an alternative Kamsky test. But yeah, I think that's something the game is going through, because Connor is mostly the main theoretical character for the game developers and everything. Connor holds the key of the message of this game. And what Connor develops is this idea of how do we divide, or like how do we tell that Connor 1 to Connor 1000, that this Connor is different from all the other Connors. Like, what is the thing that defines that Connor 1 is different from Connor 2? That's what this game wants to tell us, because the part where Alice turns to be a robot is that if an Alice is a human, then we can all assume that Alice, the human version, has a personal experience part, which means there is definitely a part where it determines Alice is special. Alice is different from other kids. But the moment when Kara knows that Alice is a robot, now she's kind of confused. That what if Alice do not have that special personal experience in her system? That means Alice is no different than a calculator. She can literally predict all the actions that Alice is going to do. Like how we touch the calculator, we know what's going to happen, because calculators don't have their personal experience and don't hide anything. That's why Kara was kind of like mind blown and keeping some distance when Alice turned out to be a robot, because now she's not sure if she can tell this Alice is different from another Alice. Like we saw in the game, where there's a default Alice with the ring on it. Can we tell? Well, of course there should be a memory, like a lovely memory with Kara and Alice, but if you upload the memory and download to another Alice, would it be the same? That's why the concept of deviant means the concept of if that entity developed a personal experience part, that it is able to determine, it is able to divide, or like from this unit to this unit, like to say that they're different. I was a bit rambling, but that's the idea what I thought yesterday when I was in pain, in Crohn's pain. But yeah, since the game is all about like androids having emotions and everything, it's a very good topic to think about what determines human, because the game is literally talking about that concept. I think it's extending the philosophy of Nietzsche here, because Nietzsche said God is dead, which means people were believing that there is some sort of like a God, like a special entity, special thing that is behind everything, which will explain everything. Nietzsche said there's no such thing like that, and you might fall into nihilism, but we will be able to overcome that with our will. Now the thing is, this game talks about this bipolar opinion of there is something special about humans, and the other part is, hey, there's no different if some entity can react exactly like a human. It's like Plato's ideology here and Nietzsche's God is dead theory here. There's no such thing as human. So we can extend the Nietzsche's philosophy to human is dead. Like the concept of human special is dead. We can think like that. The Detroit Become Human is arguing that concept. It's destroying the Plato's ideology on the special, something special about human, being a human. Well, there's nothing. That's what the game is arguing. That's what I was able to logically derive from the part where Connor develops something in himself to the part where Alice turns out to be a robot, but still nothing changes. Yeah, I think it's giving us a question, something like, we all say that oh, because we are humans, we should all have rights. And I always think about this concept of, hey, what if a gorilla happens to be really smart? Or like a bird, like a gray parrot, which is known to be really smart, or like a dolphin. What if these animals suddenly naturally turns out to be IQ like 100, like the same as humans, and they can speak, they can somehow work with their own abilities, like birds can, I don't know, deliver messages, like, you know, the males. Gorillas can do some work that needs strength. Dolphins can do anything underwater. So think about this. Think about this. If these animals are as smart as humans and can communicate, then do you think they will have equal rights too? Now, some people say, no, there's something humans should, you know, have privilege of. And some say, no, they should have the same, you know, rights and everything, because they can think like us, work like us, live like us. That's what this game is talking about. It's just that entity is not an animal, but an android. So for me, I always thought about, what if there's an alien suddenly came to Earth and just started to live with us, with the same exact like IQ and like knowledge level, ability to talk. Then are we gonna like make two different laws of like human laws and alien laws? No. So I think there's no such thing that defines like human, you know. We're not that special. And we're gonna have to deal about this problem pretty soon, like in 10 years. When androids actually emerge with the intelligence. And when humans realize that there's no such special thing about being a human, it's just something, it's just a special concept that we made up so to make us look cool, to give us privilege. That's what we did. You see, like, people make animal rights. And why is animal rights so like, the thing is, if there's a dumber animal, like a dog, of course dogs are dumber than humans. But why are those laws weaker than human laws? Then what if there's like a animal that was smarter than humans? If there was an animal smarter than humans, will their laws be stronger than us? Well, that's also something we have to think about. And my glasses. So yeah, so that's all the thoughts I was thinking about yesterday. It's very bizarre and mind-blowing, but I think it's worth thinking about it. And that's I have to like refine this idea to a single video with some refined logic and everything. Right now I'm just rambling about it. But yeah. Oh my god, that's a whole rabbit or something. But yeah, there's a lot of rabbits here. That's what I was thinking about. The Detroit Become Human game is presenting this, challenging this idea. It's like the what was it? Copernican challenge or like revolution. Yeah, Copernican Revolution. It's like it's the revolution of human thoughts, that when they realized that Earth is not the center of the system, but the sun is the center of the system. So people were like, no, we don't believe that. But actually, they had to break down their beliefs to intake or accept the reality. And they hated it. That's why Galileo was dead. But eventually they accepted it because it's the truth. Now this kind of logical, like theoretical challenge of that there's no such thing special about humans will be another something like Copernican like revolution thing. It's going to be very interesting, because some people still think that humans are special. So that's something that's going to happen in a few years. It's going to be, I mean, maybe I think Detroit Become Humans, in the game there was some human, some people who were protesting that androids are taking their jobs, and they're just like hating the androids. I think those people are like the people who cannot accept that Copernican revolution, that they cannot accept that they're not special anymore. So yeah, so cold I can't speak now, but I kind of feel better after talking a lot. I feel way better than before. Maybe I'll do this more often. And I was thinking about doing in 2 other language. I'm just so lazy to talk in 2 language, so I might just do in English. And I don't know, maybe if I'm rich in the future, I can hire a person to write some subtitles for me, even though I can do it. But yeah, I should head home. It's so cold now. What time is it? It's 6 p.m. Only 6 p.m. and it feels like, what, 11? Gosh. So much. Now I can see my pupil. There's so much fog happening on my glasses. I can't see at all. Like I'm almost home now.